Howdy, howdy, howdy. It's a Rodfather 916. Remember Katt Williams? I think I just did a video about him earlier today or earlier yesterday. Tonight I spent a lot of time, I would say in the last few hours, looking at stories and responses from other comedians about what he had said about them. And apparently his comments aren't new. He has been routinely critical of fellow comedians. And most of them have decided, I'm not going to respond to this, which I would do. The reason I would do it is, listen, you're going to believe whatever you're going to believe. I'm not going to change your opinion. I'm not going to change your opinion. If you're a fan of Katt Williams, I'm a fan of Katt Williams. I just don't get into these things. But if you're a fan of Katt Williams and you're inclined to believe what he says, nothing Kevin Hart, nothing Ricky Smiley, nothing Steve Harvey, none of these comedians that he was critical about is likely to change your opinion. However, if you get into this long argument with Katt Williams, it ruins your brand. It damages your brand. So I would move on. But apparently he's had these complaints before. And so I watched one particular interview with Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish on The Breakfast Show with Charlemagne. And this was 5 years ago. And apparently he was critical of Tiffany as she was blowing up. And one of the things Kevin said struck with me. He said, listen, Ice Cube said it on his interview, and just in the last 48 hours, listen, we bring people up. Kevin Hart says, people have brought me up, I brought other people up. They're not hearing that from Kevin, from Katt Williams. And so a lot of people are not responding about it. But what was interesting is I wrote about Katt Williams 10, 12, and 15 years ago. This is for a blog and a couple of publications. This is one I wrote March 1st, 2016. I'm in Sacramento, California, and Katt Williams has had some controversy in a lot of cities. So bear with me. Katt Williams is a very funny man. His tours have sold out all over the country. The talented 44-year-old father of 8 should have stacks of cash. However, where he goes, controversy follows. He made big headlines here in Sacramento in 2012 after he illegally drove a 3-wheeled motorcycle down the sidewalks of K Street, narrowly missing pedestrians. A few days before the chase, here in Sacramento, he went to a Woodland Target and slapped employee Forrest Lensberg. He says Lensberg called him a nigger. Days before his appearance at the Oracle Arena in Oakland, he was arrested on charges of assault with a deadly weapon for beating an 18-year-old man with a bottle on his tour bus. Melissa N. Hash, Williams' former personal assistant, says on October 6, 2012, Williams hit her with a closed fist and she sued him for $5 million. The 2016 Conspiracy Tour. Last Saturday, the tour stopped in Atlanta where Williams performed at Phelps Arena. It's now State Farm Arena. 50 miles from Atlanta is Gainesville, Georgia. And in that city, he visited with 2 employees to the Leslie Pool Supplies in Dawsonville Highway in Gainesville, Georgia. And this is from the Gainesville Times. A store employee told officers Williams was in the store with 2 Williams. He began arguing with the employees and threw a pair of goggles at them. Sergeant Holbrook said Williams then went behind the counter and punched the employees at least once. When the Gainesville police arrived, they found Williams outside lying on the ground with his hands behind his back as though he was ready to go to jail. He was held for a $5,000 bond. I've learned in life sometimes you have to be careful when you point fingers at somebody because those fingers can be pointed back at you. The rumor mill, and nobody confirmed this man toured over 100 cities. Yet most of his money went to pay legal fees. Kevin Hart said that at one point, Katt Williams was the chosen one in Hollywood. But he didn't show up on promo tours. Remember that, Monique? He didn't show up. He was late. Some people suggest drugs at the time. But in telling a story, when you omit a lot of part of what you've done, and maybe I didn't see this, feel free to correct me. But when you say that Tommy, Janie, Lunell, all these people did all these things and they got all these special treatments and they weren't good and they were stealing jokes from each other, which comedians do, and you omit your history and what you've done, it makes you less credible. I'm a flawed person, human being. I make mistakes. I'm a human being. I'll probably make mistakes until they put me under. But if I'm critical of someone else and I, for whatever reason, don't tell my side like what I've done, people may look at me side-eyed. They may go, well, isn't that interesting? But for a while, here in Sacramento, California, he had a crime spree. And it seems that there's a problem. So again, it leaves me. I remember in the other video I said I had a hair up my ear, there was hair up my neck. Maybe the hair is what you left out, your background, because you were quite critical, quite articulate, but you had a lot to say about a lot of people, and yet you have this history, even here in Sacramento. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope whatever happened to him has been repaired so he can be successful. You don't want to wish anybody poorly. But I've said that to Monique. Monique would have been a superstar if she'd have done what Denzel Washington done, Whoopi Goldberg has done, Steve Harvey has done, and everybody who's made a movie is promote the movie. That's it. She'd probably be an international star because that woman has charisma. Monique has charisma. But her ongoing talking about all these people negatively and can't let it go. Precious was 16, soon to be 16 years ago. Was she blackballed or did she blackball herself? Because if you talk trash about the industry, particularly people who well respected the industry, would they want to hire you? This is the Rod Father, wishing everybody love, joy, peace, and happiness. Please take care of yourself. Hit that like, hit that follow. Thank you very much for watching. Better days for Mr. Williams. We want him and Monique to be successful. At least I do. Thanks for watching.